Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about Sony and Little Big Planet 3. And Little Big Planet 3 servers are being taken offline. But I guess to be specific, they're just being kept offline. So here's the official announcement. Due to ongoing technical issues which resulted in the Little Big Planet 3 servers for PS4 being taken offline temporarily, in January 2024, the decision has been made to keep the servers offline indefinitely. All online services, including access to other players' creations for Little Big Planet 3, are no longer available. And they do point out that offline features like the campaign are still playable. Now, I haven't tried this one out myself yet, but on PS3, not on PS4, it appears that some servers are still online, unofficially. It's called Beacon, and they say here, Little Big Planet custom servers by Little Big Planet Union. Beacon is the next generation of online connectivity for Little Big Planet on PS3 and Vita. They say this is powered by Lighthouse, and it appears there's a patch for Little Big Planet 1, 2, and 3 for PS3. If you are curious about this one and wanted to learn more about it, I'll drop a link in the description below. And speaking about unofficial stuff, next up we're talking about Prince of Persia on the Commodore VIC-20. Someone has ported this game and it looks pretty good. There's more information about this game over on the forums and I'll drop a link in the description below. The developer of this one had to do some simplifications to make it work on the Commodore VIC-20. There's 9 levels in total. Moving on, and this is more just a friendly heads up, but Xbox Game Studios is having a pretty big publisher sale over on Steam. I'll drop a link in the description below. Some of these deals include 40% off Flight Simulator, 50% off Forza 5 and Forza Motorsport, 75% off Halo the Master Chief Collection, and 67% off Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now I've got a recommendation for a game that isn't part of the Microsoft publisher sale, and that's Blasphemous. This is an indie game. It's currently on sale for 75% off, and I think this game is absolutely fantastic. There is a demo available if you wanted to try it out first, and again, like everything, I'll drop a link in the description below. And speaking about indie games, next up we're talking about Stardew Valley. And Stardew Valley just got another update, version 1.6.4. I would argue this is a pretty big update. I mean, they've added 20 new alternate mine layouts, 20 new volcano mine layouts. They've added fish frenzies. There's been a whole bunch of balance changes, including adding more variety and improvements to Skull Cave treasure chests. On top of that, there's visual improvements, quality of life changes, optimizations, bug fixes, and even more. There's quite a bit in this update. Moving on, and we're talking about emulation on iOS, and it appears that Provenance is headed to the App Store. For those who may not be aware, Provenance is an iOS and tvOS front end for a whole bunch of different emulators. It supports a bunch of systems. So included in their list of supported systems, we have some heavy hitters here. We've got PS1 emulation, PSP emulation with PPSSPP, as well as Sega Saturn emulation with Mednafin. It's worth pointing out they say they have some systems in development here, including GameCube with Dolphin, Dreamcast with Flycast, and PS2 emulation with Play. Now, as far as I know, Apple doesn't allow JIT, which may impact performance greatly for these emulators. Next up, this is a quick one, but an interesting one, and we're talking about Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Nintendo Switch. Now, a while back, we talked about modders who were trying to make an unofficial port of GTA 5 on the Switch. And a video has just surfaced over on Twitter on how far they may have possibly got. So if you are curious about this one and wanted to see it in action, I'll drop a link to it in the description below and feel free to check it out. Next up, we're talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Citrafork Lime3DS, and Lime3DS just got a brand new update. So Lime3DS 2110 is the latest update. We've got some minor tweaks and fixes, and arguably one big fix here for Smash Bros. They say they fixed a crash when entering full screen while playing Super Smash Bros. 3DS on Vulcan. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a merge from Citra Canary. So they say this Smash Bros. Fix included a large-scale restructure of several sections of the Vulkan renderer. This may result in compatibility improvements for other games which we did not expect. Next up, I've never played this one before. If you have, let me know in the comments below, but the game is called Jung Rhythm. It's a rhythm game for the Sega Saturn, and it just received an English translation. Now this is an unofficial patch. It does require the base game in order to work, and it is up over on GitHub. Next up, we're talking about Sonic 3 AIR, which stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Angel Island Revisited, depending on how you want to interpret that. And this person says, after almost 3 years since they started working on it, the PS Vita port has been released. This project is up on GitHub, and they're calling it a fan-made remaster of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. They say the project modernizes the original game by adding widescreen support, improved graphics and audio, and new gameplay features. And last up here, we're talking about Windows emulation on Android with Cassia. And yes, we've got a small update for you. So if we take a look here, this is Bylaws, one of the developers of Cassia. And they say Windows Steam with ARM64 EC WoW64 effects. And yes, Steam is up and running on an Android device. And on top of that, the Rockstar launcher also appears to be up and running. Now at this point in time, there are no public builds of Cassia available. They're still developing it, they're still working on it. They plan on releasing it sometime in 2024, at least fingers crossed. I'm really curious to see how Cassia ends up performing. I'm going to guess it's going to be way better than something like Mobox or Winlater or really anything else. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and one fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.